All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Fonseca, director of the Jack D. Gordon Institute for Public Policy here at Florida International University, and it's a privilege to moderate today's conversation. Before we begin, I want to extend an incredible thank you to the Gordon Institute, the Green School, of course, and Case for working with us to host and support this particular discussion. Today's conversation is intentionally grounded in a specific place, the city of Sderot, and the lived experience of local leadership and community governance in a difficult and complex security environment. Rather than debating broader political positions surrounding the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, our goal today is to better understand what life and decision-making look like on the ground, how municipal leaders navigate uncertainty, how communities adapt, and how resilience develops over time. Sderot is a city of roughly 30,000 residents, right? 30? 40,000 residents, and located, of course, near the Gaza border. Over the past 2 decades, it's faced persistent security pressures while continuing to invest in urban development, education, community growth. That coexistence of vulnerability and adaptation makes Sderot a particularly important case study in how local governance functions under sustained stress. And so we're fortunate to be joined by 2 incredible thought leaders, distinguished in their respective fields. And so first, Mayor Alon Davidi, I want to thank you. Thank you for being here. He joins us in his capacity as municipal leader since being mayor of Sderot in 2013, right?
Yes.
12 years. He's overseen city planning, education, public services, and crisis management during periods of significant uncertainty. His experiences offer a window into leadership at the local level where policy decisions directly shape daily life for residents. So grateful to have you here. And of course, we have our very own Dean Shlomi Dinar, Dean of the Stephen J. Green School of International and Public Affairs. He's here to bring a broader perspective. His work focuses on regional cooperation, environmental security, and the ways shared challenges, particularly resources such as water, influence both conflict and cooperation across borders. Our aim is to foster a respectful, thoughtful conversation that acknowledges the sensitivities of the issues and the wide range of perspectives people bring to them. We'll focus on governance, resilience, innovation, and adaptation, including how technology, which, Mayor, you've been at the front end of sort of technological change, urban planning, community institutions contribute to long-term stability. And so with that in mind, let's begin by stepping back and looking at the broader regional environment that shapes local realities. So Dean Dinar, I'm going to come to you first. From an analytical perspective, how should we understand the regional environment surrounding communities like Sderot?
Right. So thank you, Brian. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. I've been asked to give some context, right, to kind of where we are, and I think the place to start is with regards to relates to October 7th, right, the war in Gaza, as well as where we are today, which I think it's important for us to recognize. I think that's kind of, if you will, that sets part of the context as well. So as we know, on October 7th, 2023, the horrific Hamas attack on Israel saw the murder of nearly 1,200 innocent people, and the most brutal attack in Israel's history. This also included an attack on the Israeli city of Sderot. Right? Alongside these killings, Hamas took about 254 hostages. I think it's also important to look at the other side, on the Palestinian side, right? And since the Gaza war began, we have tens of thousands of Gazans have been killed, with estimates as high as 70,000 people, with the majority being civilians. In addition to those dead, there has also been many injured. So I think it's important for us to acknowledge the loss of human life on both sides as it relates to some level of context, and you'll see kind of where I connected that later on. As we look at the situation in the region today, we have a U.S. brokered ceasefire between Hamas and Israel, right? That went into effect on October 10th, 2025, that is quite tense and fragile today. The 20-point Trump peace plan calls on Hamas to disarm and for Gaza to be demilitarized and for the Israeli military to fully withdraw from the Gaza Strip after that takes place. Today, Hamas continues to hold on to its arms, and Israel still has a military presence in the Gaza Strip, specifically along the Yellow Line, as the so-called Yellow Line. The Trump peace plan also calls on the so-called Board of Peace, convened by President Trump, to oversee a UN-backed international stabilization force, the ISF as it's called, and a transitional government for Gaza. It is not clear when these steps of the Gaza peace plan will actually take place. And here I'm talking about demilitarization, withdrawal, the ISF, the transitional government, and ultimately Gaza reconstruction. Of course, what is likewise concerning is some of the humanitarian impact of conflict on the Gazan population. So you're probably asking, how does all that context, how does that relate to Sderot? Well, I think first we must recognize the humanitarian toll in Gaza, not only that, but the profound rebuilding that you in Sderot and Israel in general have undertaken after October 7th. Right? It's pretty remarkable. Both communities have experienced and continue to experience trauma, instability, and serious disruption to daily life. Addressing these realities is not only a moral imperative, it's a necessity, and I know you and Sderot and the community are working day and day when it comes to that. For a city like Sderot, located less than a mile from the Gaza Strip, the long-term success of any peace and stabilization plan is directly tied to its own future. A viable, economically functional, and well-governed Gaza Strip mitigates the negative spillovers, which in turn create conditions for sustained security. But beyond security, this may also be an opportunity. A durable peace framework could enable economic normalization, cross-border coordination on infrastructure, environmental management, which I'll get to a little later, water and energy systems, and potentially shared economic zones that benefit residents on both sides, both on the Gaza side as well as on the Sderot side. So the point I'm trying to make is when we see violence and conflict diminish, then we can see clear pathways for cooperation and stability. And the question in front of us all is whether that future is defined by recurring crisis or by structured opportunity. So I want to kind of set that. That's the context I wanted to set for this particular, at least on my part, for the conversation.
No, I think that's excellent. That's excellent context to start. And I think you referenced a few things that I want to come to you on, because you've been certainly lauded as one of the most impactful leaders in Israel. The work that you've done in Sderot has been nothing short of impressive. Not sort of without sort of recognizing the broader security context, but for the city itself and the resilience of the city. And so, as mayor, I want to ask about your responsibilities beyond the security context. How do you balance everyday municipal governance? That's education, infrastructure, economic development, and public services, while operating in a high-pressure, intense security environment.
First, I want to talk about a few minutes about what Shlomi said. If you want to build the future, you must understand the past. And Shlomi talked about the 7th of October. The 7th of October is the result of 25 years of the regime of the Hamas in Gaza. The 7th of October is not one day that something happened. It's the result. And it's very important, because if you want to build a future and make a cooperation with who? I don't have any hate to the people that live in Gaza. For women, husband, children. I hate and want to destroy Hamas, because Hamas is the reason that nothing happened in Gaza in the last 25 years. And the Hamas is get responsible about the 7th of October and the 25 years before. And it's very important, because you cannot jump. I am 52. I am mayor 12 years. But beside that, I'm a father. I'm married with my wonderful wife, Nurit. We have 7 kids, from 14 to 28. In last year, I became to be a grandfather. Most of my children born to a situation that they need to run every day to save their life. They get terror in the morning. They get terror when they go to sleep. They get terror and rocket missile that land in the city when they go to school. Many times me and my wife, we are not been in Sderot, and we need to do it alone. And I not remember one day that I decide to send rocket to kill someone in Gaza. And it's very important to understand that, because in the end, people come to Sderot and they said, it's a miracle. Mayor, how it's happened that a city that get more than 10,000 attack on the city in the last 25 years and the 7th of October and the war after continue to growing up. You know, I'm been a few times in Florida, a few times in Miami, a few times in all over the place. And I always, when I meet the mayor, ask, tell me, where was the last time that you get a missile on your building, on your university, on some school? They said, what? And second, I always, when I come to some building, I'm looking for find the shelter. Because if you come to Sderot, you will see everything is a shelter. The school we have a shelter, it's protected. The house with shelter. And I go around with my team, and in your university, in the university here, it's a big place. I not find any shelter. So the reason is Hamas. And because that it's very, very important that when you want to build a future, it must be without Hamas. Because Hamas is the reason that nothing happened in Gaza. He used with all the money. He used with all the care of good people in Europe, in the United States, in the normal Arab country like Saudi and Emirates and like that send always money. And what's happened with the money? The money go down under the ground. You know, they digging more than 700 kilometers under the ground. It's like, you know, I've been in Gaza last week. We go to see the green line, the yellow line. And the captain from the army said that we will need more time because the job is not finished. And because that it's so important to support Israel. It's so important that Trump and the regime in United States and the citizens of United States support us. You know, because if we will stop and not destroy Hamas, you can build Gaza, you can build university, you can build a hospital in Gaza. But if Hamas will stay there, what will happen? They will continue to growing and wait to do another attack and use with all what they have. And they will put the gun and they put the TNT and they put the rocket inside the hospital, inside the university, inside the school. You know that my two sons, been in the army in the last 2 years, more than 1 year. 1 year. They left their family and they need to be there. And they said, Father, you know what we learn? That we go every place. You go to some house, you find a weapon. You go to the hospital, you find tunnels under the hospital. So it's very, very tough. It's very, very pain. But I feel that we are, in the end, the ambassador of the world. You know, imagine that something that Sderot will fall down, will close the town. What will happen? Hamas will say, we won. Iran will say, we won. Hezbollah and the Houthis and the ISIS and all this crazy organization will continue. And really, they hit me and try to do it on Sderot. You know why? They not feel that they're looking for me. If they have the chance to kill you and your family, they do it. If they have the chance to kill Shlomi and his family, they do it. Because we are the people that sit here, we have the same value. But the value of Hamas is that. And this is very important to me. I know that it was long, but it was very, very important because people really don't understand. People don't understand that when we beat Hamas, we make a favor to the citizens that live in Gaza.
But let's talk about your role.
Now, yes.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I mean, unless you wanted to add anything to that, or
No. I mean, I think that is also part of the larger peace plan, right? The demilitarization of the Gaza Strip, right? The disarming of Hamas, right? A technocratic government, right?
You're right.
I know it's easier said than done.
You're right. But I feel, from my eyes, from the eyes, from the ground, I see that people not understand because we need time. We need time. We cannot push Israel to continue the next point of the 20 point. In the end, you cannot jump and say, okay, Hamas will stay. Let's trust on Hamas. We see what's happened when we trust about Hamas. You know that in my city, the government allowed before the 7th of October to take 10,000 people from Gaza every day. We allow them to come and work in our city, in Ashkelon, in all the Be'eri, Netiv HaSara, Nir Oz, all the place that they come and murder and burn body and do the evil things that they do for the women. In the end, we do whatever we can to help them. We get outside from Gaza. We give them electricity. You know, my city even clean the dirty water that in the Bet Hanun, in the north neighborhood of Gaza. So we do whatever we can. But what Hamas do? Hamas not change. Hamas not say, okay, let's make a chance. Let's build Gaza. Let's build factory. Let's use with the power of the states of Israel, because you know Israel is a technology country. Israel is the best in high tech in cyber. We see what's happened. We see the shekel, our coin.
Yeah.
You see it's so strong. You know, after 2 years, let's what's happened. I see what's happened with Elbit, with all the security factory of Israel. Everything in jump. If you want to invest money there, because we see that the power of Israel is so strong. So use it. Hamas use
and
it.
Specifically in Sderot. So that's where I want to come to your leadership in sort of managing public policy at the local level. I mean, we talk about the broader context,
Yes.
and you and Shlomi have painted sort of the broader security context.
Let's go inside Sderot.
Let's go inside Sderot.
Look, I'm living in Sderot many years. I'm not born in Sderot. I lived there more than 30 years. I remember when the citizens choose me to be the mayor, after 6 months, we get the operation of protected age. It's happened in 2014. And I remember that I've been under attack in the war, more than 2 months. And for me, I learned one thing, that if you want to be the mayor of Sderot, if you want to lead a town like Sderot, you must understand that you have 2 jobs. One is like all the mayor all over the world. I need to clean the street. I
Right.
need to give electricity. I need to build parks, to build education, welfare, culture, and all these things, work, factory, and that. Second, I need to be the father and the mother of the citizen, because in the end, I met them every day.
Yeah.
Even that, it's very tough. Why? Because in the end, I not make the decision of the national decision about security. Like example, in the last 20 years, every day, you can go Google it. You put Alon Davidi, you will see Alon Davidi said, Bibi, the prime minister, destroyed Hamas. Gantz, the defense minister, please destroy Hamas. Continue to beat them and kill them. But because all the pressure that get under the shoulder of the prime minister, I don't know why, but he decide not to do it. He decide not continue what I want. So in that point, it's very tough, because
you lead at the
I
local,
lead a town that suffer
Right.
from the terror,
Under a
but I
broader
cannot do
national
anything
context, right.
with the decision.
Right.
But I understand that I can do something.
Right.
And it depends what I can do in the city. So from one side, I try to prepare the city with everything, about rockets. So we build many shelters. Second, we understand that the first thing that someone that is on a long crisis, what he want a simple things, that someone care about him, that someone care and said, I with you. And because that, I work very hard with my team to create a very, very strong community, connect community, that everyone help for everyone. And another thing, I'm look at every day when I look at if I sit in this room with you and Brian and Shlomi, I look about the roof and I said, how can I break the roof? How can I jump and be better?
Yeah.
Better in the education, better in security, better in culture, better in that thing. I think that is my job, and it's a miracle, that I remember that when became to be the mayor, I look about the detail about the how many house built in the city. So from 2003 to 2013, just 300 new house. And it seems that like Sderot it's finished, Sderot it's stop. So I decide after protected age, after 2 months, that I bring Bibi, I bring the prime minister, and I said, look, we need to throw, we need to go in up. And from that moment, I build more than 8,000 new apartments in the city.
From 300 to 8,000.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So now we are something. When I come to my job, it was something like 20,000 apartment. Now we have 40, and now I build another 10,000.
Right.
And I think this is the way. You need to all be in action. This is what I say to my children. You know, I can come to my personal life. I have 7 kids, like I told you. 3
And your
of them.
grandfather. I don't want to let that go.
No, this is the
you
best.
Look far
This
too
is
young
the
to be
best.
a grandfather.
This is the best.
But
When
you're
my
right.
son called me and said, start to talk with me and my wife, we said, leave you, go back. We want to see the granddaughter.
You go away. We got
Yes,
this.
yes. But what I want to say, we are not. I'm not just optimist.
Yeah.
We have a problem.
Yeah.
We have a challenge, especially with the children that suffer from the trauma, and we create a lot of things to help them. But the first thing that I always said, remember my old daughter Neria, she's now 28, and I remember when she was 12 or 10 or 13, she have a problem when the sirens start to shouting red color. She always go to the shelter and sit on the corner and said, Father, I cannot move. And I remember that what I can help for Neria. So I said to Neria one day, Neria, I understand you, and I understand you're fighting. You have a pain from the nervous and from the. And I said, I need you. She said, what, Father? I can't. I said, I need you. I need you because I need you to lead the little children that we have in the neighborhood, and let's go and do something for them. And I think this is the way. This is the way that the system works in Sderot, and thanks to God. And thanks to God.
No, I'm going to ask you next about specific public policies you've done at the municipal level that has continued to move so forward. But you know, Dean, I want to come over to you. And so, beyond the traditional military security landscape, what non-traditional factors, things like environmental management, are increasingly shaping resilience in the broader Middle East that certainly have an impact on Sderot?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for that question, Brian. So, Mayor, I don't know if you know, but my focus in my research, I'm also, in addition to being a dean, I'm also an academic. Yeah. I engage in research. And a lot of my research focuses on what we call transboundary freshwater issues. The politics, hydropolitics, the politics of fresh water, conflict and cooperation over water.
Israel is the best country.
Right, Israel has a lot of advantage there in terms of technologies, and this is kind of where I'm going with this, with my point here. And by the way, a question for you as well, Brian. If I ask him a question, I know you're
you get to drive this too.
Okay, good.
Listen, you're the dean. At the end of the day,
good.
You get to drive the conversation.
So water is often seen as both could be, and I'm talking about fresh water, not ocean water. Water is often seen as a source of conflict between states because we need water. We need water to survive. We need water to develop, so it can be a source of conflict. But also water can be a source of cooperation. And I know that Sderot in particular has been and continues to be a leader in both tech and innovation as it relates to water, wastewater, agriculture as well. So I would be very curious, and of course I have some ideas as well, but I would be very curious to what has Sderot been doing in this particular area, right? Vis-a-vis Israel, and what is the potential for perhaps more region-wide efforts? Perhaps with the Jordanians, perhaps one day with the Palestinians, right? In that particular domain.
Did you steal my script? I think you read my script. That was the question for you about resilience.
Oh, okay.
No, but you answered. Okay, but you said exactly where I was hoping you would go.
I think you need to check your
I think so.
computer. Maybe put something.
I need some cyber resilience. No, I mean you bring up a really good point.
again. In the end.
No, I'm just playing. But you bring up a really good point about sort of the broader environmental context in which, obviously municipalities, states, sort of survive and thrive, and more importantly, engage in conflict over things like resource conflict. And so I appreciate you raising that in the broader context. And so our question to you is exactly what the dean asked about sort of how do you see that that playing out in Sderot?
Look, we talk about Sderot, but Sderot is a part of the area of the Negev, and surround Gaza. In the city you build a house, but surround the city we have a lot of kibbutzim, a lot of village that work with the ground, and this is the place that you can find all the vegetable that growing in Israel. It's a wonderful place, really, really a wonderful place. And what's amazing that to see people that in the middle of the war continue to work very, very close to the borders. Very, very strong, to see people that day after the 7th of October said people, because Israel was in a war 2 years, so people need to continue to work, to bring vegetable and things like that for the market. So it's the best. We have our college. We have two things. One is it's the water factory that belongs to Israel, Mekorot, and Mekorot work for two things. One is the water from the sea. That in the past we drink water from the Kinneret, from the sea that we have in the north, but now most of the Negev drink water that come from the sea. That is amazing to do it. But second is the technology that you learn, like the company of Netafim and many company that teach many community all over the world to use it with the right way, not to waste the water, not to understand when you take a vegetable or something in the ground, you need to understand what you need and what you don't need. So we have a lot of company that work surround us, and we have the College of Sapir. The College of Sapir is the biggest college that you can find, the public college that you can find in Israel. Now we will continue to build the college, and we start to establish a new section of technology and engineer. In my city, the government give us money, and we're looking. This is my cause that I come to United States, because we're looking for foundation that want to be part of this amazing building about the college. And one of the things that we want to be focused. I'm not understand so much about the university.
We can do that.
Yes, I leave you the job, but I think that we will focus in water and in energy. This is the two things: to use with energy, to clean energy, and to use it with water.
That's a great point.
And I want to add to that, Mayor. I think here also when we look at water, right? That's how I look at water. Water is a source of collaboration and cooperation with other
water
countries.
Water is life.
Water is life.
Without water, you can't do anything.
Water is security. Water is sustainability. Absolutely. I agree with you 150%. I know that Clemson University, if I'm not mistaken, recently also joined.
Nikki Haley been visiting my town, and we make this a cooperation, so we continue.
Correct. So again, I think this is where Sderot, again, whether it's in the future or in the far future, I think Sderot has really a role to play, given that it is a hub for water technology, water innovation. When we come to issue of desalination as well, right? This is certainly something that the region, Brian, is certainly going to have to be looking at, because the larger Middle East is going to be dealing with water scarcity for the next decades. There is more demand than there is supply of fresh water. Right? So there's simply not enough fresh water. What I mean by fresh water is water from rain, water from aquifers, water from rivers.
And you need to know that we will have a big challenge in Gaza, because Hamas destroyed all the system under the ground. They send a lot of dirt, water, and a lot of things that destroyed all the source of dirt.
And you're talking here about the Gaza aquifer in particular, which is the main source of water for Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, by the way. That aquifer has essentially been decimated for a variety of reasons: overpumping, a saltwater intrusion, wastewater intrusion, the war, obviously, as well. And I think that there is, again, hopefully in the future, when we start thinking about reconstruction, right, which people are already starting to think about, right, there is certainly a place for Sderot to play a role in this context of water. and bringing in these various technologies.
No, and I want to be respectful of time because we're almost out of time. And I first off appreciate you bringing up universities. I think in the technology specific verticals, universities can afford to take risks that private sectors can't. And so leveraging universities to test and develop cutting edge technologies in areas like water security, I think is the right move, right? And so we're grateful to be part of that. And so I'm going to ask each of you one last question, and then we'll start to wrap up. But Dean, you start talking about different types of configurations for collaboration. And I've heard you talk to me in the past about things like industrial parks. Can you talk a little bit more about sort of how you see potential arrangements that could foster a deeper and maybe enduring sense of collaboration among communities that also, at the end of the day, want peace?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. So I'm a political scientist. That's my discipline. International relations is my discipline, and in my particular discipline, there's a lot of work on industrial parks and peace parks as a way of bringing communities together, whether it's communities or perhaps entities or states, right? And some examples of industrial parks. I mean, peace parks is another issue.
I want to say something.
Okay.
Because you remind me a good friend.
Okay.
His name is mayor of Sha'ar HaNegev. His name was Ophir Lipstein.
Uh-huh.
Me and him tried to build 2 years ago the place of Erez. Erez was the border between Israel and Gaza. Right. And in the past, there was a distillery or factory there. Mm-hmm. And me and Ophir have the license to do it from the government of Israel and from the defense minister to do it, and from the army. But you know who stopped it? Hamas. And you know what's in the 7th of October, what they done to Ophir? They murdered him. So I think that I'm sorry that I cut you.
No, it's okay.
But I want to say that you are right. Well, you are right, and we need to dream about it and to do whatever we can. We start to sit with the American because the United States send you have the bases in Israel. We work with the Prime Minister office and with the army to use it, because in the end we need to build. You cannot be in a war forever. In the end, but it will take time. It will take time. Sderot prepare to do it. We want to do it, but in the end, we need to do it with one different thing: without Hamas. Right. Without Hamas.
No, and I completely understand, right? And I'm glad that this is some part of your plan as mayor. Again, if this occurs, but again, this is, I think, a good way of creating shared economic incentives between communities, between countries, fostering more stable day-to-day interactions between communities. Of course, I understand that this will take time, right? This will take time. This is not something that we'll start doing tomorrow. The last things that I will say, Brian, a few of the other challenges, in addition to, of course, making sure that you have the appropriate environment to do so, which, again, I understand. Some other challenges that one has to think about when you're thinking about industrial parks are, what's a security architecture going to look like? What is the governance and regulatory clarity? Who's in charge and under what legal framework, right? Infrastructure reliability, both digital infrastructure as well as physical infrastructure, labor and human capital. How do we deal with cross-border movement, right? Especially if we're talking about two countries or two entities. And of course, access to capital. These are some of the challenges to industrial parks, despite, I think, their potential to really bring communities together.
But that's the spirit of them. The spirit is bringing communities together.
Correct.
In the hopes that you can weed out communities that want to undermine the spirit of collaboration.
I want to finish with to talk to you about the resilience. Few center. We established in the city of Sderot International Resilience Center, because I think that if it can be rocket, it can be fire, it can be carbon, it can be everything that the city go under a crisis for a long.
It destabilizes.
Yes. And we establish a place in the city that we teach many organizations. Many times we go outside from the Israel, and many times a delegation come to learn from us. And I'm say it, if someone hear me, if you can be a mayor, you can be a leadership, you can be a deacon university, we will love to share our information, to share our experience, to work with any organization that want to do that. Just call to us, maybe send an email or send and post me in my Facebook and say, Mayor, I hear you. We want to learn how to be better, how to continue to thrive in a situation like that, and I will be happy to share the details and the information.
No, and I appreciate that. And again, your leadership and Sderot have often been described as a symbol of resilience, and I think that's nested in the amount of importance you put on developing resilient societies.
Yes.
And so I have one last question for you, and that's looking ahead. What does long-term success for Sderot look like as a city? What indicators are you laser focused on? Is it population growth? Is it quality of life, investment, education? What matters most to you?
All together.
All of them.
All together. Yeah. It's not enough that we will continue to growing up, because I think after the 7th of October, we need to be better. This is our answer to the terror. This is our answer to ourselves. And this is what I myself, I remember when the 7th of October, when I go around the city and I see all the body and cover that and put them in the bag.
And you personally zipped up every single bag as a leader.
Yes, and when I look, because I know the people, I promise to myself and I promise to them, we must do it to honor you and to honor what's happened to you. And the last thing I want to say, thank you. Thank you for you, Brian. Thank you for Shlomi. Thank you for the studio here, and thank you for the university and to Mark. And especially thank you for, I want to say, I never involved with local political, but we must know that, you must know that the decision of Trump to support Israel, bring back all the hostages back to our country, the decision to support us, and all the amazing thing that happened in the last year. And I wish that Iran will answer yes to Trump, and maybe everything will be okay. But you must know that Israel cannot be continue to going without United States, without the support when we get inside United States. And I want to say, always remember, the terror want to make chaos. Terror is not, because many times I said, what's happened day after Iran destroyed Israel? What's happened with the life of the people there? Something changed? Nothing. And because that, I think that Sderot, me, Israel, we are the ambassador of the battle against the terror. So we must support each other, because in the end, if Hamas and Hezbollah in Iran will destroy Israel, they continue to do it in Europe. They continue to do it in United. In the end, they want to destroy the world. So we hope that everything will be okay. Thank you very much.
No, Mayor, thank you so much for taking the time to come by FIU. Of course, our dean, my dear friend Shlomi Dinar, thank you so much for joining in this conversation. So as we wrap, some conversations like this are not always easy, particularly when they touch on complex and deeply felt security issues. But I think they're essential. They're essential for institutions like ours, so that we can better understand how communities and leaders like you navigate these really complex environments. And so today's discussion reminds us that beyond the headlines in geopolitics or cities, institutions and people like Mayor Davidi and Dean Dinar making difficult decisions and providing thought leadership every day, working to sustain community life, strengthen resilience, which is a key word from today's discussion, and plan for the future under challenging circumstances. Engaging with these local perspectives helps broaden our understanding and encourages more thoughtful and informed dialogue. And so on behalf of FIU, the Gordon Institute for Public Policy, the Green School, CASE, I want to thank all of you who had the opportunity to join us. I want to thank our speakers, and of course, this amazing studio that my good friend Sergio Tejeda leads. And so with that, in appreciation for the discussion, we will keep these conversations going future. Thank you all again so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.